So there's something you should know before you buy a Kimber 1911 pistol. It's not really a secret, but it's not being told to everybody before they buy one of these, especially new gun owners. And if they don't have this information, they might be making a really big mistake. And that's a problem for me because I've learned this through personal experience. And since gun stores aren't necessarily going to tell you about this, and because it's not on Kimber's website and they're not going to tell you about this, I guess I will. And I want to try to help those who are about to spend upwards of $1,500 on a pistol like this one, just to find out it maybe wasn't a great idea, especially based on their skill level. So before we get into it, I do want to mention that Midway USA is the biggest supporter of the channel. Thanks to them, I can get out here. I can tell you honest opinions about products like this one, which they actually carry, which I really appreciate about them. And I get out on the range and get to do a bunch of fun stuff. So big thanks to Midway USA. Oh, now, hello. What's the big issue and what's the big, secret that everybody should know about these before they buy them? Well, Kimber works with tight tolerances similar to that of what a custom shop would provide, which is generally a good thing, except for they skip the next part, which is having the hand fitment and polishing done by a competent gunsmith thereafter. And that's because they build their 1911s on a production line, right? Think of like an assembly line, Ford Motor style. That's what Kimber is. It's not like Wilson Combat or Nighthawk or Les Bayer or any of these other custom 1911 shops where from start to finish you have a competent gunsmith assembling the pistol, polishing the parts, ensuring proper fitment, and then quality controlling and testing the functionality of that pistol to make sure it walks out the door a reliable handgun. Kimber makes, I think, more 1911s than anybody else in the world. And because of that, they have to produce a lot of guns through a production line. They can't afford to actually have the level of quality that a custom shop would have. And now a lot of people are going to think, well, this gun was $1,500, right? Which, by the way, you can get them for like $1,300 now. This is a Kimber Raptor 2 stainless and 10 millimeter. It's just how my life works. I paid too much now. But anyway, a lot of people are going to think that that's going to equate to reliability and quality. But what they don't know most of the time is that this exact same style of pistol, the form and the function of it, from a shop like Wilson Combat is going to run you around $3,000. So double the price. And the reason for that is because Kimber skips the second half of the process. They can't afford to have that individualized, competent gunsmith go through and quality control and test and hand fit and polish everything that this gun needs in order to make sure it's 100% reliable. Or they'd have to charge at least, $3,000. Which wouldn't really fit their business model and would eliminate their ability to compete because at that point, you're going to just go to one of the more tried and true shops that are out there. And why is this important? Well, because a lot of people have zero concept about this. And Kimber's own warranty states that you have to run 500 rounds through one of these pistols for a break-in period before you can decide whether or not it's reliable or unreliable. And at that point, you could actually file a warranty claim if something goes wrong. Well, in my experience, 2 out of the 3 last Kimber 1911s I've owned had problems. And the reason for that is because of the custom fitment that they're trying to achieve without the hand fitment and polishing required for that to be reliable. They use very, very tight tolerances in their pistols. When I say that, what I mean is that everything is very well fit, which is generally a good thing, and it makes a good base for a gun you could improve upon because you need those fitments to be tight. Whereas some of the cheaper 1911s that run well and are reliable, like Rock Island Armory or even like some of the TISA stuff, the reason they're more reliable generally is because they have slightly looser tolerances. So they might not be able to achieve as high of a degree of accuracy, but they're going to be reliable and more dependable out of the box because there's more give for functionality, right? These guns don't have any room for error. But if you don't have a gunsmith hand polishing or hand fitting or taking care of any issues before they leave the factory, any little thing can create an error. And even this pistol had an issue. The slide stop needed to be polished. It was the wrong geometry for the round that this gun is chambered in, 10 millimeter. Because of that, I was getting premature slide lock, right? Well, I have been around guns enough at this point. I kind of knew what I needed to do, and I took care of it myself, but Kimber also helped me out. So they stand behind their products, but I don't expect someone new to guns to do that. I don't expect somebody who's not well-researched or doesn't have a bunch of tools for this kind of stuff laying around to be able to do that. So they're at the whim of the manufacturer. And because of the way Kimber sets up their warranty service, if that person doesn't have the financial room after buying a $1,500 pistol to shoot 500 rounds of 10 millimeter or 45 ACP or 9 millimeter before they can get their gun to work properly, well, that gun might just never work properly. And that's what you should know before you buy a Kimber 1911. A lot of people are very hard on Kimber, and for good reason, because guns are something that we look at as life-saving tools, things that we should be able to rely on for self-defense, not just to look pretty, which this one does, and not just to collect, right? We want them to work and do their job proficiently. And a lot of Kimbers just don't reach that level of competency because they need something done to them beforehand. And that's due to the concept of a custom style pistol with the tolerances of a custom gun, but without the other half of the equation. And so if you buy a Kimber 1911, you should be aware that there is likely going to be some maintenance required that goes above and beyond cleaning. There may be some additional fitment required. There may be some polishing required. There may be some warranty work required. But, you know, you're getting a gun like this for half the price of a Wilson Combat or a Nighthawk or a Les Baer. But you also might not have a reliable gun in the meantime. And that's something that a lot of new gun owners just aren't told about before they buy a gun like this one. They walk into the store or they go online and they see a $1,600 or $1,500 or even $1,100 Kimber 1911 that looks awesome. They look really good. That's why they sell. They sell because of looks. They're like a Chevy Camaro. They look cool. And then you drive it and you realize it's probably not the best idea. So, I just wanted to make sure you were aware of that. Anything else you need from me at all, go to magicprepper.com. And besides that, that's going to be it for Magic Prepper.